There are reports a deal could be announced as soon as today that would see the Tesla CEO Elon Musk buy Twitter. For more on what this could mean, we're joined live by Tony Chapman, the host of the podcast Chatter That Matters. Tony, good to have you here on CB24 Live at noon this afternoon. What do you make of this Elon Musk buying Twitter? People love him, people hate him. What could this mean for Twitter itself?
Well, I think it's going to be a complete reinvention of the platform. I mean, everything Musk touches, most of his stuff he creates from scratch, but he does with a force. He does it with vision, and you can love him or not. He's unquestionably one of the visionaries of the last 100 years in terms of American capitalism. And I think what he's going to do with Twitter is he's going to make it private. He's going to bring back free speech. He's not going to censor based on what your political beliefs are. And he's going to try to, which is, I think, almost impossible, take out some of the fake out of the fake news.
Mm-hmm. Interesting, Tony. And you mentioned, you alluded to free speech just there. Just within this hour, in fact, Elon Musk has tweeted, "I hope that even my worst critics remain on Twitter because that's what free speech means." He just tweeted that probably within the last half hour, in fact. So he's almost tweeting as if he has, in fact, that it's a done deal here. But again, it's that the free speech, he's really emphasizing and drilling down on that. He's tweeted about that before. Free speech, popular speech people like to hear, Tony. There's so many different things and facets to speech, aren't there?
There is, but I think if he takes Twitter and says, let's make it the middle ground, let's bring opposing views together, let's debate versus I'm going to chase Fox for my Republican news and I'm going to chase CNN for my Democratic, and I'm going to be only with like-minded people who like like-minded content. I think he's got an opportunity to kind of take social media and reinvent it by just saying it's an open venue for everybody. There's no hate speech. We're going to try to take the fake news out of it, but just to have conversations where people realize an opposing point of view doesn't mean I have to hate the person. In fact, that maybe I can even compromise mine. I think that's a healthy thing for society. Yeah,
Tony, it's interesting. If you could clean up Twitter, get rid of the trolls, get rid of the bots, get rid of, like you said, the fake news and fake speech that's out there, that you would assume could help the company because as far as we understand it, Twitter's never turned a profit. The revenue comes in from advertising, but Musk has even talked about getting rid of that. If he takes it private, he can really try to tackle these seemingly in a way that Twitter hasn't already done it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're putting in the hands of somebody that's already, there's a lawsuit going on right now for him using Twitter and violating every possible rule with the security exchange in the States. The danger is you've got one person that's actually got a powerful network to the world. He could use that for his advantage. What you hope is that he does create, it's more unbiased than that. It's not his political campaigning, but there's no doubt he understands that with the new algorithms coming out, the personalization, the ability to highly personalize advertising, he could be buying this at the right time. It's a lot of money. It's way over their premium, but knowing Musk, everything he touches, people can be critics all you want, and they bet against him on Tesla for years. An average American would have to make their salary for 3 million years to be worth what he's worth today. So just understand that's how much wealth he's created.
That's a pretty remarkable statistic there indeed, Tony. What do you think it would take? You can never satisfy everyone, that is clear. But what do you think it would take to satisfy sort of opponents and proponents of Musk taking over Twitter? What could he do to put out there and say, look, this is what I'm going to do to get maybe checks and balances, things like that, to sort of ensure that the reputation of Twitter remains, if you think it's good in the first place, I suppose?
I think you talked about the trolls and the bots, but I would think what he could really do is start putting together Twitter programming, half-hour debate shows where you do have opposing points of view. It's almost like Churchill used to have his dinner table where you'd have a homophobic and Oscar Wilde sit together. He said after a bottle of champagne, people realize we're just human beings. And I think Twitter could absolutely become that middle ground again and says, we're going to find an audience from both sides versus just try to herd people into different camps. So I think Twitter could get into live programming. I think Twitter can get into debates. I think Twitter can be a major source in terms of news as we approach elections. It doesn't just have to be where a lot of hate and anger vets itself, because anonymously with some anonymous name, you're allowed to just, spew filth.
What do you think Zuckerberg's thinking today, Tony?
He's got to be worried. And anyways, Zuckerberg's got to be worried, period, because, when you look at what TikTok's revenues now and how that's growing, some of the platforms that he thought he owned and would have forever are under attack. And the real thing they all have to realize is what's happening in Europe. Follow that in terms of what they're demanding out of social media, in terms of how they use their algorithms to personalize. Yeah. The more government gets in control, the more these social media people will be put in check.
Okay, Tony Chapman, host of Chatter That Matters. Always great to talk to you, Tony. Thanks so much. Have a great afternoon.